Good morning, folks, and welcome to your class today. It's really good to be here with you, bedhead and all. Today, I'd also be put my microphone a little closer to me too here. A little discombobulated, as I was saying. But anyways, today I'm going to be teaching from my computer, and just with the hopes that this will give me an opportunity to share differently with you. I know for me, when I practice flow and teach flow simultaneously, it's a lot from my breath. And every once in a while, I need the opportunity just to teach you the class. So for today, if you want to turn your video on, feel free to do so. It kind of gives me something to teach to a little bit, which is really nice. That video wouldn't be recorded if you did turn it on, but there's no pressure to do that. So again, I can envision it all in my head, pretty much. So don't worry if you don't want to do that. I won't take any offense. I'll pin myself up, and that should do it. All right, so start in a laying down position on your back in Shavasana. Just let your whole body kind of rest down, head and arms and legs, getting really passive and relaxed. And yeah, close your eyes. Concentrate on the feeling in your stomach, just kind of below where the belly button is. Feel that area below the belly button rising up. And feel that area coming back down towards the spine. Do a few more breaths just like that as you tune in with the gravity pulling you down onto your back. And welcome, Steph, to class. It's so good to have you here joining for the practice today. Glad you got the text. So again, just start bringing a little bit of movement into your body. Move the fingertips, move the toes. Let's stretch the arms up above the head. Let's reach up, big morning stretch. Fingertips up above you, tippy toes stretching out beneath you. And then I want you just to kind of draw the knees into your chest and draw the legs side to side like you're rocking a little cannonball on your back. And then turn over to the side and come over into a tabletop position, facing whatever the front of your mat might be. And with the palms down on the ground in tabletop position, let's move through a few rounds of cat-cow. So I want you to push down with the hands and open up through the chest and heart. Feel that stretch move across the stomach, the belly, the heart, the chest. And then exhale, push down with the palms and round the spine back up. Again, inhale, bringing forwards through the chest, allowing that breath to be a full expression, and then exhaling, pressing back up towards the ceiling. Nice job. And breathing in, rounding forwards, opening up heart, stomach, bum can tilt back a little bit, and exhale, rounding the spine. And then come back to about a neutral feeling spine, somewhere in tabletop. Curl the toes under and extend the hips upwards into downward facing dog. So your palms are pressing down. I want you to kind of grip the floor with the hands and do what you can do today in class. If there's anything during the class today that feels like too much, take a break, take a rest. It is my intention to teach a little bit of a higher paced class or a little bit of a more invigorating class. So if you can't keep up with that, you just take your own pace at things, okay? No problem. I want you to lift your heels up, breathe in. Exhale, bend the knees, walk forwards to the top of the mat. Hands to shins, inhale, lengthen the spine up. And exhale, fold the spine down. Breathe in, stretch your arms up, reach to the ceiling, arms above the head. And exhale, hands connecting in front of your heart center. Wonderful, reaching up again, breathing in, stretch up, look up. And exhale, dive it down to the ground, fold forwards. Hands to shins, lengthen and lift the spine, breathing in. Exhale, palms down to the ground, step back to plank position. Awesome. Take a deep breath in plank. Lower the knees slowly, lower the chest and belly all the way down to the floor. Breathe in, lift your heart, baby cobra, heart peels up. Exhale, lower the heart, then use your hands and knees to push back to tabletop and then back to downward facing dog, lifting your hips up high into the sky. Let's do 2 more rounds like that. They're called sun salutations, heels up, breathe in. Bend knees, breathe out, walk to the top. Hands to shins, lengthen, lift, breathe. And fold, exhale. Inhale, reach up. Hands to heart center, push the palms together, feel the chest active. Breathing in, reaching up again, taking that lift through the heart. And then exhale, dive down and bend the knees to get to the floor a little bit. It helps the back. Hands to shins, lengthen the spine, breathing in. And then exhale, palms down, feet back, plank position. Lower down in your time, knees, chest, belly. Now, baby cobra, you're gonna lift the heart up. And exhale, lower the heart down, push up to tabletop, and lift up to downward facing dog. Hips in the sky. One more sun salutation, lift the heels up, breathe in. Exhale, breathe, and walk at the same time to the top. Hands to shins, lengthen, lift the spine, and then fold when you exhale. Inhale, reach it up. Hands together in front of your heart center. And again, reaching up with that breath pattern, stretching tall. And then exhaling, you're diving down to the floor, bending the knees, hinging at the hips. Hands to shin bones, lengthen and lift the spine. And exhale, palms to the ground, step to the back, and lower down knees, chest and belly, all in that same breath out if you can. Then the next inhale does baby cobra. We lift the heart up, and then back to downward facing dog. Awesome, so that's kind of the basics of the flow. Let's expand on that. Kick the right leg up, breathe in. Right leg extends up. Exhale, draw the right knee to the nose. Shoulders over palms. Inhale, right leg up, down dog arms, so the arms are extended. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over palms again. One more time, kick up on your in-breath, out-breath, knee to nose, then step the foot, the right foot, between the hands and rise up to crescent lunge. Back toes are on the floor, heels lifted above the back toe. Front foot rooted, press down, reach up through the arms. Awesome job. And then pivot back foot to the floor and open up the arms. So the left foot's pivoted back, the right foot is forwards in that lunge, you're in warrior two. Turn the right palm to face up and reach up with the right arm, left arm back thigh. Exhale, windmill your hands down to the floor, step back to plank, lower down to chaturanga. Knees, chest, belly, or full plank. From there, up dog or baby cobra, press the heart lifted. Exhale, downward facing dog, press the hips lifted up. Now you're gonna kick the left leg up, breathe in, kick left. Exhale, knee to nose, first of 3 of those. With your breath in, extending up. With your breath out, pulling knee to chest. Last time, extending, reaching up with that leg. And exhale, pull it through and then step through with that foot. Reach up with the arms, stretching like you're reaching up towards something above the head. And then pivot back with the back foot and open it up into that warrior two lunge on the left side. And moving into that dancing warrior. So the front arm goes up, the back arm touches the back leg. And then flow, windmill your hands all the way down to the floor and frame the foot, step it back, chaturanga. Upward dog, lift the heart. Downward dog, lift the hips. Heels up, breathe in. Bend the knees and then walk forwards to the top of the mat in your time. And then hands will rise up to the shins, lengthen the spine up. And exhale, fold the spine forwards. Now reach up above your head, stretch up tall. Interlace the hands above your head, and you're just gonna come to a neutral standing position. We're gonna side bend up and over to our right hand side, and the legs could be touching together. So you could have the feet stepped right against each other, big toes touching up against one another. And we're gonna side bend up and over, creating that stretching sensation on the torso. And then come back up, reach up, rise up, and change the side of the side bend. Reaching up and over to your left side now. Let's go a few more times and let's start to move it with the breath. So everybody's breath is gonna be different, so don't worry about my instructions here. Just breathing in, up, breathing out, over. Breathing in, up, breathing out, over. That kind of idea. And then after one more on each side, just kind of exploring that expansion on the side of the torso area, we're gonna move into powerful pose, thunderbolt variation. Legs together so your butt squats down and back. Squeeze the inner thigh muscles together. Keep reaching up with your arms. Your spine is still extended forwards on that nice angle, and your hips are rooted down and back. And yeah, nice job with the block, Carol. That's so awesome. What a great tip and tool that we can bring into the practice. It brings so much strength to the groin and to the whole pelvic region. So we're gonna move into a twist from here. You can do lots of different versions, hands to heart center, rotating the spine right side down, left side up, elbow comes to the knee, or a variation of a twist that you've taken in a class with a teacher before. Take one more breath in, and then untwist, exhale. Reach just the arms up, but stay relatively squatted. Awesome. Maybe even squat down lower if you've got it in your practice today, and then take the hands back to the heart and twist the opposite direction. And use your breath to feel the length of the spine, and then the exhale to feel how the core moves the spine into the twist. One more breath like that, and then coming back to the center. Reaching up, palms together, tall. Exhale, dive down to the ground, fingertips touch the floor. Hands rise up to the shin bones, lengthen and lift the spine, breathing in. Exhale, palms to the ground, step back to plank position. Take a breath in. Exhale, chaturanga, lowering down. Inhale, upward dog, lifting up. Exhale, downward dog. Hips go back up into the air. Nice work. Let's walk up to the top of the mat. And we're gonna move into malasana. So we're gonna squat down with the bum, squat down and back, let the legs come wide apart and the hips come down between the heels. Hands join in front of the heart center, and there you go. Now you're gonna squeeze the knees into the outside edges of the triceps. And then this is our option to move into crow pose from here. Crow pose is an arm balance. What we do is we have our hands together in malasana here, right? Let's turn them forwards. Palms go to the ground, hips lift up, knees are on triceps. Then we're gonna start to lift up the pelvis, and the feet might float up off the ground. Take 5 more breaths wherever you might be in your practice right now. Crow, malasana, any other variation you find yourself in. Last 2 breaths, in and out the nose. And then from crow, you could actually kind of spring and float back to chaturanga, or move back and slow it down. Let's meet in plank. Once you're in plank, taking a full breath in, and then exhale, completing the flow. Lower down. Inhale, lift, heart rises up. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips go back up into the air. Awesome. Notice and find your breathing again. Let's walk up to the top of the mat. Tippy the toes up. Hands to shins, inhale, lengthen and lift the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms up nice and tall, stretch up, hands together, and then eagle on the left side. So left arm underneath the right arm, binding the arms together. And then we're gonna squat down and back with the hips and lift the left thigh up and over top of the right thigh. So this came up in a private lesson I was teaching the other day with one of you. They asked about eagle and how to actually be with the legs. They were a little bit confused as to what I meant by squeeze the legs together. And they kind of said, is it more like I'm trying to draw them apart? And let's talk about that. So we are squeezing the upper inner groin muscles. So right at the closest point to the groin, those muscles are contracting, and those are the adductors, they're hugging in. And then in the lower legs, we are pressing the lower legs opposite to that. The lower legs are actually pushing back to where they came from. And we're doing that just a little bit, not like enough to make the knees feel sore or anything like that, just enough, just a little bit. Let's take one more breath in and squat down just a little bit deeper, challenging that posting leg. And then inhale, I want you to reach the arms up and lift the left leg up, breathing in. Exhale, kick that left leg back behind you, then plant the toe and the heel down, coming into warrior 1 eventually. So you're gonna root that back foot and then reach up with both of the arms into that warrior 1. Come into warrior 2, open up the arms. A little bit wider, heel toe that back foot, a little further back. And then let's go up to that dancing warrior again. So the right arm reaches up, the left arm goes to the back thigh. And find a little bit more expansion on that right hand side of the torso. So opening up across the the rib cage area all the way up to the armpit area. Now I want you to straighten your front leg and then dive forwards, reach forwards with your right palm and plant it on your shin. Right palm on right shin, left palm up in the sky. And then let that top arm be comfortable in the shoulder, whatever that means for where it needs to be. And we can stay in this position or come into a little bit more of a challenge. So you're gonna bring your left hand to your left hip, bend the right knee over top of the right ankle, and then spring forwards on top of the front leg and lift the pinky edge of the left leg up and back, reaching the left arm up still, feeling that relative comfort in the shoulder. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Last one, inhale. Exhale, come back to warrior two, plant the back toe in the heel, and let's go to dancing warrior. This means front arm up, back arm to the thigh, and then flow. So windmill the hands down, step back to plank, lower down so that you're in a low plank or use the knees. Then lift the heart and the chest comes up a bit, and then downward facing dog happens at the very end, lifting the hips back up. Awesome, walk to the top. Let's go into eagle on the opposite side. So hands come up to shins and then up to standing in your own time. And then once you're standing, you're gonna just reach those arms up all the way, breathing in, and then take the right arm underneath the left arm. Once your right arm's underneath your left arm, you're gonna squat down and back, lift the right leg up and over top of your left leg, and then start to squeeze through the inner legs. Yeah, you should be on the right side, just to clarify. We did the left side last time. I'm almost 100% sure. I wish I could rewind it and find out, but I'm almost 100% sure. Just make sure you're doing the opposite side. Take one more deep breath in and find that squeeze. So the groin is squeezing to center, the legs are pulling to the opposite sides, in the lower leg portion. And then on your next breath in, we're going to start that expansion back up, arms reaching up, leg floats to a hover, leg kicks back behind you, plant the back toe in the heel, and then open up the arms up into warrior one. And then into warrior two. Arms spread apart. And then up to that dancing warrior. So front arm reaches up, back arm to the back thigh. Pause there for just a moment to feel that side of the body start to open up. The left side up from the hip to the armpit. And allow that last breath to lead you into your flow. Exhale, windmill the hands down, step it back to plank, and go ahead and lower down into your version of your chaturanga. From there, upward dog creates this nice back bending shape, and then back to downward dog with our hips lifted up. We're like an upside down V. I'm just gonna skip this track. All right, let's tiptoe to the top of the mat once more. And put your hands to your shins. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Hands together in front of your heart center, then lift your left knee up in front of the hip. You should be standing on the right foot. Put the hand on the left knee, and then open the left knee to the left side as much as you can until it feels just like it's naturally stopping, and we feel some groin stretch similar to cobbler's pose or tree pose. Open up through the other arm, reaching to the side. And then we're going to take a breath in, come back to center. Exhale, toppling tree, left leg back, arms back, into standing splits. So you're gonna hinge forwards more from your hips and bring your fingertips to the block or the floor. And then kick up and back through the lifting leg, the left leg. And you're trying to use the butt muscle and the quadriceps simultaneously. So let's talk about that briefly. Quad is kicking the leg straight. Butt is lifting that straightened leg. Yes, awesome. Take one more final breath in. And then swing your left leg down next to your top foot at the top of the mat. Hands to shins, lengthen and lift the spine. Exhale, fingertips down, step the right leg back and lower the right knee down to the floor. And come into low lunge. And you can put the hands up on your thigh. You can use chair, blocks, options are there. We don't hold this pose for as long as in yin, which is nice. Let's just take about 4 or 5 more breaths letting the breath come in through the stomach, opening up the hip area in that region, because just breathing around the hips will create that expansion into the region we're trying to stretch. And then we have option to go to half splits from here. So to do half splits, you bring your fingertips back to the floor kind of to support for a bit. And then you're going to shift your butt back over top of your back heel and extend your left leg forwards in front of you. Nice job. Then you can round the spine down or just keep it upright. Lots of options. And just here for 3, pressing the front heel down, 2, and 1. Press the back shin down and push yourself back forwards onto the hands again, back into that low lunge, and you're going to step back to plank position from there. Once you're in plank, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose, and exhale down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, lift the heart and chest. Exhale, downward facing dog, lift the hips back up. Awesome. Walk to the top of the yoga mat. Hands to shins, lengthen. Fold. Reach up, arms up tall. Hands together in front of your heart center. Lift the right knee up in front of your hip. Grab the knee with your palm, and then open the right leg to the right side, and you're standing on the left leg. You can look and reach to the left side. Stand nice and tall. We're kind of growing up through the crown of the head, rooting down through the posting foot. Taking another breath in. And out, staying here. Sometimes the challenge is found with just being still in a posture for a few breaths. Now bring that leg back forwards on an inhale. Exhale, kick that leg back behind you. Sweep the arms back. Toppling tree into standing splits is a transition. So we're just using toppling tree to tilt down, bring the fingertips to the block or the floor, straighten the back leg as best you can, and then lift the back leg up just maybe an inch more. Feel that glute muscle get nice and active. And here for 5, 4, 3, 2, swinging the leg down on 1, bringing the leg down next to the left foot. Feet are together. Hands to shins, lengthen and lift the spine. Exhale, bring the fingertips down to the floor and step the left leg back this time. So now the right foot should be at the top of the mat in your low lunge, and you're going to bring your hands either on the floor, the front thigh, and process through breathing. Maybe 5 or so rounds of breathing. Long enough for me to take a sip of my coffee. Let's go to low lunge next. So you're going to kind of bring the hands back to the floor. I like to do this just to feel the support. And then from there, hands on the ground, shifting the hips back so that your butt is kind of over top of the heel, and my hands go right next to my hips on the floor or on 2 hard blocks, hands up on the blocks. And we're just here for a few more breaths. You can press down through the front heel for 3, 2, and 1, and then pull back forward so that you're into your plank position eventually, palms at the top of the mat, stepping back to plank, and then lower down, chaturanga. Knees, chest, belly if you want. Upward dog, lift the chest, use the arm strength to lift up. Downward facing dog, hips back up in the sky. Since the music is just generally quieter now, I'm just gonna turn it up a bit. You can always tell me if it's too loud. Let's walk up to the top of the yoga mat again. Come all the way up. And once you are at the top, come up to standing, reach up tall. Let's move into dancer's pose. Let's lower the left arm down next to the hip. And you're gonna grab onto the left foot with the hand, reach up with the right hand, and imagine like you're giving somebody kind of like a high five forwards in front of you. At the same time, you are kicking pretty hard back into that hand, and that creates that stretching sensation in the quadricep and in the front of the hip. It's so good to have you here for the session today. Stick with the practice as best you can. I know sometimes it comes really easy, and sometimes it doesn't really come easy. So honor where you're at today, and you're here. You showed up. Take one more breath in dancer's pose. Exhale, come back up into tree pose on the same side. So you're actually not even gonna plant that foot down. Yeah, nice job. Ooh, cool variation. Yeah, half lotus, awesome reminder. We can bring that foot to the front thigh, just kind of above the knee, and try a different challenge. We can also move from there into toe stand if that feels okay. What we do is we have that front foot on the front thigh, and then we kind of bring the fingertips down and we actually fold all the way till the fingertips touch the floor and our butt squats down over our lifting heel. That's optional. If you did take toe stand, start to come back up from it, and then move the knee forwards, lower the foot down to the floor. Reach up, breathe in. Lower your right arm down. Kick your right foot to your hand. Grab hold of the foot. You should be standing on your left leg. You're pressing back with that right foot into the hand, reaching forwards and up with your left arm and armpit. Can you kind of feel the difference? Like hand reaches, chest reaches, right? Like there's a difference. You can just lift the arm up, or you can reach through the side of the torso and feel that expand the stretch down underneath that armpit, down towards the hip area even. Yeah, awesome. And we're gonna move into tree pose, coming back up, breathing in, opening that leg to the side and sliding that foot up onto the inner calf muscle or the front of the left thigh. And from there we can go optional toe stand, right? So if we're in that half lotus position like so, we're just gonna bend at the posting knee. We're gonna bring the fingertips down and the hip down. This is our toe stand. If you wanna go there, awesome. You can come out of it like this too, right? We can actually, approach toe stand in a few different ways and see what it feels like. We don't have to do it. For 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knee forwards, lower that foot down to the floor, and reach up, breathe in. Dive down, breathe out. Hands to shin bones, inhale, lengthen and lift the spine. Exhale, bring the palms back down, step back to plank position. Let's do about 3 to 5 push-ups. That's totally optional, but I wanna give you that chance to challenge upper body today. So hand and knee push-ups, hand and toe push-ups, and then coming down on an inhale and coming back up on an exhale. Down on an inhale. You got it. Use that exhale with strength in the body. It gives us strength in the core and in the chest, which helps us do that pushing up. Nice job. And then we're gonna come down all the way onto the stomach, just resting into belly shavasana. Whole stomach lays down, head can just turn to the side, and just let yourself relax. We're halfway through class, folks. Nice job. Take the time to do what you need to do here. If there's anything that you need, addressing those needs is really important. Allowing yourself to get up, move around, make some tea, use the washroom. All these things is part of in my opinion, part of the joy of an at-home yoga practice. For me, anyways. Sorry for that noise there. So here we are, back now. Or on the stomach, rather, sorry. And we're gonna just start to move into some different stretches for the back body. And so we're gonna put like additional compression on the low back, just kind of slowly building up on the compression. And you can stop at any point and just try to explore in the way that feels good for you. So you're laying right down on the stomach, and you're gonna take your palms, and you're just gonna put them underneath of the chest. And you're gonna lift up. You're on your forearms, or so that you're in baby cobra. So you can choose baby cobra just like this, heart peeling up off the floor. Feet rooting down just a little bit, or coming up onto the hands a little bit higher. But I still want you to try to find that activation in the lower body so that you're pressing down with the tops of the feet, anchoring, squeezing the bum, hips are anchoring down, and palms pressing into the floor. That's a little bit more active than like a yin style of Sphinx pose would be, because you're pressing. Breathing in through the nose, filling the stomach. And breathing out through the nose. Inhale. Exhale. Relax the legs, pressure if you're still pushing them down. And we're gonna let ourselves down with our chest if we were in Sphinx. Swinging the arms back behind you, interlace them above the bum, press back through the knuckles and start to open up across the tops of the shoulders and the chest a little bit. You're gonna lift your legs up now and maybe bring your feet together. If that's not accessible, bring the feet onto the floor still, and you can still bring the arms and chest back behind you with the feet rooted. That's totally fine. If lifting works, do that. Press back through the toes, lift up through the back of the heels. You want to use your butt in this posture just like you did in the standing sequence with lots of different postures that we explored. Remember, the bum muscle is involved with letting that leg be kind of lifted up behind us. It does something called hip extension. So it kind of opens up the front of the hip when we get the bum active. And let's float down with the chest. Put the heels back towards the bum. Grab onto the outside edges of your feet. Flex the ankles and press back with those feet. Lift the heart up and start to feel that stretch across the front of the stomach, the front of the chest, and maybe even a little bit on the front of the shoulders. You can look forwards, you can look up. And then I want you to see if you can lift the thighs up off the floor, lifting the knees up. 3, 2, and 1. Let the legs down, let the chest down, and put your palms underneath your chest, coming into upward facing dog. So lifting the heart up here, we're gonna squeeze the butt. And then keep pressing down with the hands to lift our chest up. People sometimes do up dog with the thighs on the floor. It is my preference to see, for me, to do it with the legs lifted. And I think it kind of just helps people find support in the back, squeezing the thighs, squeezing the bum, and then back to down dog, hips up. Let's bring the knees to the top of the mat like this. And we're gonna go into, the knees aren't wide, sorry, I had mine wide, but have the knees forward facing. And we're gonna stand up on them. So just come right up on the knees. You can put the hands on your butt and then draw the elbows together behind your spine. And then lift the heart up and back, the elbows together, and the bum squeezing. If you've got your block and you want to keep exploring how you can use it, like we've been doing a few times recently, just bring it between the ankles like I've just done here. Squeeze the block and use it as that reminder of using the bum muscles. We sit so much, like I sit a lot, like not all the time, but a decent chunk of my day involves some sitting. And that means that the bum muscle is weak and inactive. If we were doing lots of things like hunting and gathering and what humans did a lot of at one point in time, we'd be having stronger bums probably. Let's rise back up from that position, remove the block, sit down on the butt. Let's sit down right on the butt, and then the block goes between the legs. You're gonna grab the undersides of your hamstrings and then have your heels on the floor. From here, you can kind of lift the heart, lift the legs, and remain squeezing on that block there. Yeah, awesome. We can try to find like what's happening in the back. And if we can feel into here and we notice that there's something that we don't like, we might anchor the feet instead and still receive all of the physical muscular benefits of this posture. Like we can do everything with the feet grounded, heels down, block squeezing, heart expanding, leaning back a bit. And then sometimes when we lift the legs, everything goes, all the good stuff goes away. I feel part of that for me, like it gets more challenging when I lift the legs up, but I don't feel as capable. So I don't really get as much of a benefit. For 3, 2, squeezing, 1, and then I want you just to lay down onto the back. You can even leave the block there and just lay right down. Put the feet down on the floor and coming into bridge pose, lifting the hips up, and the block is super effective, just like the right Pokemon type. The block is super effective in this pose. So you can squeeze the block and lift your hips upwards into the air. And yeah, just see what that feels like. Yeah, it's like a water type against a rock type Pokemon. It's really effective. Keep squeezing the glutes, lifting up through the pelvis. And we're gonna try wheel today. It might not be in your wheelhouse, but that's okay. If it's not, don't worry about that. Just do bridge again. So come back down with the hips. And if you're gonna try wheel, you might just mimic what I'm gonna do here. So I'm just gonna put my mic to the side, but you should be able to still hear me. We're laying down. The hands are gonna go right beside the head. Elbows point up. Feet walk into the glutes. Lift the pelvis up, lift the hips and heart up, press down with the palms, and we're here for 10, 9, 8, strong pause, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tuck the chin, shoulders down, hips down, legs extend out. Awesome. Let the whole body rest, just right on your back. And we're gonna keep moving from here. So I want you to grab the knees, or rather the undersides of the hamstrings. That's what I meant. And you're gonna rock and roll up and down the spine, just like we did last night in class. The rocking and rolling a few times, and then eventually we're gonna come into flow. How you do this is totally up to you, but if you want to see one optional transition, you can just watch me do it, if you want to watch the screen. So we're coming back. We rock forwards, palms plant down, and then the feet step back. Maybe that's slow. Maybe that's all fast and it's rapid and we jump. We have lots of options. Lower down to chaturanga. Go to up dog from there, lift the heart. Go back to downward facing dog, lift the hips up. Kick your left leg up. Let's do left side pigeon first today. Left leg kicks up. And then draw the left knee forwards behind your left hand. Turn your shin underneath your pelvis and then relax your back leg. We can also do deer. Let the hip to the floor. Let the elbows to the floor. I'm gonna do deer. It just feels like the right place to be for me at this moment. And the option that I'm gonna throw in is the same one that we did last night, which is a QL stretch, a little bit of a side low back stretch. So the left palm stays forwards, right palm reaches under, and holding. So I want to send a big thank you and shout out to the 2 people who recently reached out to me for private lessons. They happened one day and then the next day. It was really nice, right in succession. But the reason I want to thank you is because it inspires me to hear from you. And it allows me to cater some of the practice a little bit better for what your needs might be. So thank you so much for reaching out. And let's come back onto the palms. Let's just change sides, make it simple and easy on my brain primarily. So we're just gonna swap sides. So right leg comes forwards, left leg relaxes back. We're in either this pose, which is our pigeon pose, or we're down with that butt on the floor for deer pose, and then optional stretch into the back. So right palm stays at the top of the mat, left palm reaches underneath, and we hold. Breathing in this pose is just as important as the other ones, but can you feel how it changes the stretch just by breathing? Breathe a little deeper in and out. You might wiggle those left fingertips a little bit further underneath of you if that feels like a good place to go. And then pushing that right palm down, coming back to a neutral feeling spine. I want you to come to table position, please. So you're on your hands and your knees. Let's go through 3 sun salutations right now. So lift up through the hips, press the palms down and forwards. Sun salutations, the same move we did the very beginning of class. So heels lift up, you're in down dog. Knees bend, walk to the top of the mat. Hands to shin bones, lengthen and lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, palms together. Hands to heart. Reach up, palms together. Exhale, dive down, bum points back, fingers graze the floor. Hands to shins, lengthen, lift the spine, and palms down to the ground. Step back to plank position. Take a full breath in. Exhale, lower down knees, chest and belly. Baby cobra, lift your heart up, use the back body. Lower your heart, press back to tabletop, and go up to downward facing dog with your hips back up in the air. 2 more sun salutations. Lift the heels up, breathe in. Bend the knees, tiptoe to the top of the mat. Hands to shins, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale up, stand up, palms together, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, butt back, dive down, fold the spine. Hands to shins, lengthen and lift the spine up, and then flow. Palms to the ground, step back to plank position once more. Lower down in any way, knees or not, full chaturanga. Lift to up dog or baby cobra. Press the feet down and use your bum. And then go back to downward facing dog, hips up. 1 more sun salutation. Lift the heels up, breathe in. Bend the knees, walk to the top of the mat. And then hands come up to the shin bones, lengthening the spine upwards, and then folding the spine down. Let's do an active forward fold this time in our sun salutation. So you're gonna step the feet about hip width apart, and then reach down to the big toes and grab hold of them. Second option is palms under feet. So we take our little hands, and we just kind of lift one foot, slip it under, lift the other foot, slip it under there, and your toes are kind of going up towards the wrists, or the base of the hand of the palm there. And if that doesn't feel good for you, just do the first one that I recommended, that toe grabbing version. Give yourself 1 more breath in. And a big sigh out. Second set malasana, so fingertips touch the floor, heel, toe, feet wide apart, and squat the bum down. Option, grab your block and sit on it for this version of malasana, because it's gonna be a longer hold. So it might be a nicer opportunity for you to kind of gauge the stretch properly. And you can try, like, we could even go the thinnest. This might not be the most comfortable for the butt, but we can also, we have lots of options. Maybe it's 2 blocks, maybe it's a little stool. Anyways, we're gonna lean forwards just a little bit now that we have our bum on the block. So hands can stay to heart center. We can just lean a little forwards. And then eventually, if you want to, you're gonna bring the hands to the floor. And then keep the knees on the outer triceps there. And we should be able to start to feel that stretch moving into the groin a bit deeper. So this is nice because the hands, the elbows rather, are in the way of the knees. So when we lean forwards, we're gonna get a stretch deepening into the groin because the legs will kind of be pushed to the side based on where our elbows are. So just lean a little bit more forwards and notice that stretch moving into the inner thigh, inner groin. You can even let the head hang down for the last few breaths. I want you to push your fingertips into the floor and help your spine lift back up. Bring the knees closer together. Remove the blocks from underneath the bum. And here we're just gonna lay down on our back. We're gonna lift the knees up. And then I want you to extend the right leg all the way out. Keep the left knee lifted. Put your bolsters or blocks to your right side, just like I've got my 2 blocks here. And then we're gonna take the left leg over to the right-hand side. I'm gonna use my blocks underneath my leg. Whew, that feels so good with the blocks there. I should have used those yesterday. But this is really nice. So getting in the outer hip stretch and then into the low back. And then you can reach the left side if you want to and find a bit of stretch into the upper body as well, if that works for you. It's a bit too intense for me, to be honest with you. So I just keep my hand on my chest. Or I think yesterday I explained there's this version as well. You just don't have to reach all the way to the floor. You can just reach up on a diagonal. Take a breath in. And out. And bring that left arm back up and over so that you're no longer twisting. And we're gonna turn onto our backs and we're gonna change the side of the posture. Just because the fireplace gets in the way for me, I'm just gonna spin around. And that will effectively change sides for me. So you're gonna have the left leg extended and the right knee up. And then we're just gonna turn that right knee over to our side. Try to relax the left leg as much as you can. And if the left leg feels grippy, you might just bend the knee a little bit so that it's not fully extended anymore. You might just kind of bend that knee, put the foot back behind you just a tidbit, and then look over to your right side. Two more breaths. bring that top knee back up. And hips to the floor. Bring the hips back to the center. Soles of the feet touching, knees apart. Second option is the one we did last night, which is grabbing the ankles, soles of the feet stay touching, or they might be a little bit apart, and we're just getting that lifted version of cobbler's pose with hovering the legs. Now, the last posture that I wanted to teach today was a pose called shoulder stand or plow pose, which some of you were recommending or asking for some slightly more challenging postures so that you could work on. So let's try that. Bring the feet to the floor. And this might not be for everybody, so that's one of the biggest things I can try to preface. So let's try to move into it. I'm gonna have to put my mic to my side here because it's gonna be crunched up. So we lift the legs up. We put the hands on the back of the butt, and then we start to lift the legs up into the air, kind of vertically, over top of the pelvis. The elbows act as support, as does the shoulders. Now, some people will be on a bit of an angle like me. Other people might be able to get the legs more straight up, like I think I can if I focus. And then I'll really support the low back with the hands. So you can just try this if that works for you. And then from here, shoulder stand, we can move into plow. So plow, we take the legs back. The legs are coming back behind us. You can always just watch today. Feet coming back. Now we might take those blocks and put them where the feet would touch, like this. If I can get it right, there we go. And then support the legs, or bring the toes back behind you onto the floor. Take one more breath in. And out. Release that pose, let the legs come back down, hips and spine first, and then legs last. Now extend both of your legs out to final Shavasana. So legs all the way extending on the yoga mat. Get comfy, get cozy. And get set up for comfort and successful feeling in Shavasana, whatever that might mean to you. So my face cam has gone glitch mode on me, so I'm just gonna stop all my videos, and you don't really need to see anything, you're just laying down anyways. So here we have about 5 minutes to be in this pose, this final resting posture. Really nice job to all of you who tuned in today for the class. Thank you so much for being here, Carol, Virginia, Brenda, Kay, Steph. Thanks for sticking through the practice today. Right from the start, right to the finish. It's really impressive and inspiring to have you join in those ways and to see your practice a little bit. I'm just gonna turn the music up a tinge and we'll just enjoy. I'll mute myself. Follow a deep breath in the nose, all the way down to the base of the stomach. And the exhale comes naturally out through the nose or mouth. allow a scan of the body to occur. Begin the scan in your hands and toes, feeling the hands, the feet, the arms, the legs. Feeling your hips and your low back. Feeling your front of the pelvis, your groin. Up from there into the stomach, mid-back, chest, and shoulders. All the organs and the lungs breathing, moving. Moving up from the lungs to the throat, where the lungs are connected. And up from there into the mouth, the nose, and expanding outwards into the rest of your face. Now, up from the face into the crown of the head, the very top of the head. And then the space just above the head. Thank you so much for coming to class today, folks. I really appreciate your presence. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm always here for you. And I hope you have an awesome weekend ahead of you, and catch up on Sunday. Namaste. Have a nice one.